What's up? What's up? What's up, man? It's Big P, man. We back with Bhostfuhl.
What's up, y'all? It's Nail, man.
The table, baby.
So, how y'all feeling, fellas? Everybody feeling good?
Feeling good.
I feel great. Let's get it.
All right, man. Let's jump straight into it. So today we're gonna be talking about the black family structure.
Mhm.
Um, before we get on any topic, like, what do you guys? What does that mean to you guys? The black family structure.
Having everybody under one
Oh
roof.
no, I'm sorry. Rewriting family
Oh,
history.
Okay, okay,
man,
okay.
you messed me up.
I'm sorry.
Rewriting family history, to me is basically like we talked about earlier. Breaking generational curses is kind of uh, like the next level of that. Pretty much, like you're doing things differently and you're accepting that. Like, say for instance, your kid want to do something that you didn't do, different, going on different paths, different journeys, and the the older accepting that, you know what I'm saying, and helping them do that. That's what I feel like it means to me.
I think rewriting, as you say, a lot of people didn't go to college. I went to college for a little bit. That's me rewriting something that didn't happen in my family tree, my immediate family tree. So
Yeah.
that's how I feel like what it is.
Well, I mean, for me, I just think it's a little different when it comes to that because it's like one of the topics you gotta understand your history before you can rewrite it. So
Mm,
I kind of feel like your family history goes a little bit deeper than just like your mom and your dad. I feel like you gotta go back a few generations and understand where you come from and where the family tried to go before you,
mm,
before you can just say that you're rewriting something, because it's deeper than that. It's deeper than your mom and your dad, even your grandma and your grandpa and stuff. It's a long line to that. So I feel like you gotta
that's real.
understand your family history in a sense
Okay.
before you can rewrite it. So now, since I said that, like, what do you guys think about that?
I feel like now it's a lot deeper, obviously, and but most people don't go that far. Most people don't even think to really dig that deep to know about their family. So honestly, I'd say it's a good thing. I haven't even dug that deep. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if I'm really rewriting history. It could be somebody that's from way back that I don't even know that could have been doing things that I'm trying to do as well. And that could be where I get it from. So I don't.
I mean, because if you think about it, so let's say, for instance, your family, which is my family, pretty much.
Right.
Like when I look back at my, let's go back to my grandpa.
Hmm.
Just we say we wasn't wealthy in the sense, but actually, I kind of feel like that's really not true because if you look back, my grandpa and his brother, they had so much land
Hmm.
where we grew up at. I mean, it was crazy.
Right.
And now since my grandpa is deceased, like that stuff is like split between his kids, his grandkids, which is me,
Hmm.
and it's a lot. I mean, if you think about it, he got like over what? I mean, it's got a few properties or whatever, in a
Right.
sense. But I'm saying that to say those older people, man, they got to it. They got to the
Right.
bag.
They did.
They might have not been doctors and lawyers and different things like that, but what they did, they they made it work, you know?
Mhm.
So and they always had, they was never really without in a
Yeah.
sense. So that's what I mean when I say like if you're gonna say you're gonna rewrite something, what are you rewriting? Are you rewriting that you just want to be educated, you want to be a hard worker, like what? Because I feel like when it comes to hard workers, like those people, man, they outworked all of us, man.
Yeah. Definitely.
And I mean, like, cause you a whole bunch of kids in the house and nobody went without.
Right.
So I mean, to me, I commend it, tip my hat off to you. That's a good job.
Definitely.
Yeah,
So I feel like you have to look at those things before you can just say, "Oh, I'm gonna rewrite this. I'm gonna do this." What are you rewriting? What are you referring to? Like,
Right.
what are you trying to change in a sense?
Mm,
Get what I'm saying?
I feel you know. Okay.
I feel like they was more motivated than us, if anything, to
But
get out there and get what they wanted and what they needed out of what they're trying to get.
mm-hmm.
I think nowadays us we not as motivated to go out there and try to change something or do something that's gonna affect our culture in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's what I feel about that.
I feel like now we want everything to be
Easy.
like Little Caesar, hot and ready.
Yeah,
You know,
hand
Yeah.
it to us.
get it quick. If it's anything that take a lot of time, we don't want to do it.
Right.
Like because if you think about it, a lot of you hear a lot of people say, "Oh, college not for everybody." Well, why is it not for everybody? Because if and just think about it from this point. If you're forced to go to school for 12 years, right? Because you go to school from first grade to 12th grade to graduate.
Mm-hmm.
If you can go to school for 12 years, what's for? You know, but the thing is, we don't want to do those 4 years just
Right.
because it's going to take long.
Exactly.
You know, if I feel like if you can go to a trade school, I feel like you can go to a regular college. I just feel like and that's just me. I could be wrong. People can fight me on this topic, but I just feel like if you can do that and go for a year or 6 months or whatever it takes,
Uh,
you can go for 4. Now, if you just tell me, well, that's not my focus, I want to be an electrician or a plumber or whatever, and you tell me that's what I want to do, then I can understand that. But if
Most
you just
definitely.
tell me that college is not for everybody, but I'm gonna go do this because it's faster, then that don't make sense to me.
I've had people that say college. They feel like young should go to college. I feel like you don't got nothing to do. They don't know what to do yet, and that's why I feel like you should go to college till you figure out what you want to
Figure it
do in
out.
life.
Yeah.
You want to figure out something, make a plan, and then execute it. Some of us black folks don't have that. We don't execute things. We don't follow through.
Honestly, I feel like I'm a witness to like figuring yourself out in college because when you go, you have time to figure yourself out. It's kind of like keeping you from the real world in a sense and just like getting straight into a job that you may not like, you know, and you don't get to really find yourself. You don't get to meet people that's going to help you find yourself, and you don't really get to explore who you really are if you don't go to college. Like you can, but I feel like it's gonna be a lot harder, and you're gonna have like less freedom. College gives you that freedom and that breathing room to really figure yourself out. You know, you're constantly meeting people every day when you're on a college campus. You run into people you've never seen before. You know, and I guarantee you, if you go to college, you're gonna meet a new person every day. You know,
Uh-huh.
and like that sort of helped me, and it sort of like made me figure out who I was. It took me out of my comfort zone. You know, I was meeting people that were doing things that I wanted to do. I was meeting people that were trying to do the same thing I'm doing, and also the complete opposite. You know, so I got to discover different parts about myself and really challenge my mind as well. Because there was people in college that was like really advanced, and they had been there too. So they were helping me, you know, navigate and helping me, like say in this class, or they were helping me, maybe with seeing what I want to do, like say for instance, like with this podcast and stuff like that. Like, if it wasn't for college, I wouldn't even be on this, you know.
Uh,
So
so let me ask you a question. So the topic, the first topic that we're talking about right now is understanding your past.
mhm.
So I got a question about that. Do you think that digging too deep in your past can be a good thing or a bad thing as far as for you moving forward?
I feel like it's a good thing because once you learn about the people like that came before you, like your people that came before you start to understand why your parents or grandparents do certain things, how they raised you. So and that helps you to so when you have a child, you instill the same thing that they learn from what their people taught them from back then.
Mm-hmm.
So in a sense, that's why I feel like that's it's a good thing to keep the dig, and that's why some people have certain traits because how they ancestors and all them.
Okay.
And
Now, since
Mhm.
since you said that, dude, now you say it's a good thing, but when you go and so let's say if you're a person like me that like to ask questions, that like to research. So you go to those people and ask questions and ask them, well, why are you the way you are? Um, how do you handle that when you open up those wounds for that person?
then you just ask it delicately. You don't want to ask it too, I guess, too forcefully. You don't want to make it make them feel some type of way when you ask them. You want to go at it gentle, so they can, so they won't. I feel like they get mad at you from asking the question.
Mm,
Yeah, I feel that. If you like, because I can see how that sounds. Like if you ask somebody that, it could come off really strong, and it's like it can also almost be like an insult. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
Rather than trying to like really figure out about that person. Like I feel like asking like, "Who are you?" You know what I'm saying? What what things in the past may have like made you like who you are. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's like a better question than why are you the way you are? You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like weird. Ask somebody that.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, because I mean, like when you getting into that and you asking those questions and you digging deep and trying to find out about, your past, like that stuff, it can bring up a lot of trauma, a lot
Definitely.
of a lot of different things when you dig into those topics. But I feel like you have to dig into that to find out, where you come from and to figure out where you're going, you know.
Do you feel like it could be like frightening in a way, like finding out about like certain stuff?
I think it can. Like that's why we're talking about this now. I think it can
Yeah.
because I think it can possibly do something to you mentally depending on how you receive it,
Right.
you know.
Okay. I was just
And
curious. I'm
and I
just
kind of feel like you have to have that perfect balance if you're going to rewrite something in a sense because if you don't know what you're rewriting then you're not really rewriting, you're just writing in a
right.
sense.
So don't
You're
you
writing
think?
a new.
So don't you think your kids should know about your past so they can better understand you and why you act the way you act?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's a open door. I mean, like we talk about stuff all the time. It, like I don't really hide nothing about my past or nothing like that.
Let me
So
let me ask you something. So like, do you feel like I'm glad you asked this question, Sir, because it's like when do you think is the right time to open that door to tell your kids about like your past? When do you think they can best handle it and do the right thing with the information?
when I feel like for me, I feel like those teen years,
Hmm.
like I say like around 15, 16,
Okay.
because at that point, they can understand what you're talking about. They might not be ready to like mentally receive it and wrap their head around it, but it's something they can reflect on later when they are ready to to deal with that. You know.
Okay.
So I mean, so have you guys? Is that something that? Well, I'm actually that's something you looked at yet? Have you dug into
Nah, I think
family past yet or no?
I haven't dug deep. I haven't asked my mom about her past because I don't know. I think she don't. I think she hiding it in a way because she don't want to talk about it. Like she never talked about it. Like me, all my sisters, we all in our adult age. We all 20. And I feel like I barely know my mama for real. I don't know nothing about her past. I just know what's present and what's in front of me now. And I'm just scared to ask because I don't know what reaction I'm gonna get out of her. and I don't know my dad too much 'cause I don't speak to him too much, so I can't
Uh,
dig into like his past, or ask him about his past because I don't. We live in the same state, so
have you ever like say for instance, and you probably have. I'm just asking. So I want to know like the approach, like to that. Like, how would you, if you could ask your mom about her past, how would you approach that? Like, would you maybe be like, hey, let's go on a walk, or hey, I I really want to know this about you, and like really know like about this about your past, like just kind of nitpicking at those questions just to unfold the story, you know.
me, I'm like genuinely like a little scared to ask. Cause like if you know my mom, she a little feisty. Like
Yeah.
she go off on like the littlest thing sometimes, and it's like I never know what I'm gonna get out of her. So it's like trying to ask her that, try to nitpick.
Have Have you ever thought about like maybe she wants you to ask those questions but doesn't know how to like tell you? You know what I'm saying? That like she maybe wants to have these conversations because I know like parents want to know like what their kids are thinking. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they may just not know how to approach you about certain things. You know, so a lot of times we have to initiate those conversations. Like we have to go to them and be like, "Hey, I want to talk about this. Hey, I want to talk about that," so they can know where your head is at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think me and my mom never had that kind of relationship, so it's kind of hard to
Mm-hmm.
navigate through that.
Yeah.
No, we never had that relationship from the age where I can fully think about things and know and how to
Right.
react to things
But
to
that may
now
be
to the
something
age.
you might have to take the lead with and
Yeah.
get that relationship, you
Right.
know. Like instead of just sitting back and waiting for it to come, like how about you be the initiator and initiate that and like just build a different relationship because one of y'all have to be in a different headspace to
Mm-hmm.
make something work. Like you both can't be in the same thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean that's if you want to do that. Like that's if you're ready to receive that right now, which brings me into my next topic, which is restoration and healing. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like you just gotta be like ready to heal, you know. I mean, like,
True.
what do you guys think about that whole thing right there, like that whole topic? Just like reconnecting with family and just, building that dynamic,
Uh.
like because everybody got some type of hurt that they going through,
Yeah.
and
I like this question.
you never know if you don't ask.
Exactly. I like this question because like this is where a lot of trauma is like healed. You know what I mean? When you like when you have these conversations, I feel like as family we have to be able to be truthful with each other and open up with each other and let each other know how we're feeling,
Facts.
because if we don't, we're going to be so confused, you know what I mean? And a lot of people like to space out when they feel in certain things. We like to go against each other rather than work together, and we like to be isolated when we don't need to be isolated. Family is meant to be together, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And you have to have those hard conversations in order to heal. And keep in mind, I said conversations, not arguments.
The problem is a lot of people don't like to be in that vulnerable state.
Yeah, no.
Like you know, I know for men, we don't want to feel weak
Hmm.
in a sense. If I'm here, man, I'm crying and bawling my eyes out, and you know, just showing how much I'm hurting,
Hmm.
on the inside. We feel like people gonna look at us as if we're weak in a sense because you sitting up here and you crying, you know.
But let's be real. Like, real men cry. Let's keep it a book. And I feel like when we cry and we let these things out or we just be vulnerable, it's a reset. You know what I mean?
That's exactly
That
what it is.
that is what healing is. Healing is letting everything out and resetting again. You know?
Mm-hmm.
You don't heal by holding stuff in and letting time go by. I'm not a believer in time heals wounds. I don't believe that. What
Why not?
heals wounds is like they time can heal wounds if you allow it to do so the right way, which means you have to open up over time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Not sit there and just wait to feel better. Like no, that's not how things work.
What about the people that's stuck in their ways? Like they don't want to heal. They stay like that because they bitter. They don't want to.
You
You
gotta
gotta
get out
want
of
to
that.
change. Like if you don't want to change, then change not gonna happen if you don't want to change.
You can't
But
live life bitter.
sometimes people, I'm a firm believer that sometimes people that's like that we call stuck in their ways. I feel like those people need a push. Some of them need a hard push. Some of them just need a nudge
Mhm.
to get there. But if nobody's coming the right way in a sense, because it's all about the delivery. You know,
Right.
if if I'm dealing with somebody that's known for being a firecracker, I'm not gonna come in there and just come any kind of way. I'm gonna kind of ease my way in there. Like start some type of conversation, and then I tell you
Excuse me.
that you need to do X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean?
Right. Like I feel like when people get bitter, I feel like it's because over time nobody has communicated with them. And I feel like over time they just haven't had anybody to maybe heal that heal what they're going through. You know, they didn't have anybody to talk to, or they didn't have anybody coming to, hey, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? Really
Mm-hmm.
like really check on them, not just ask them how you doing, just to ask them that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't really ask a person that's hurting how you doing because you already know how they. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't keep asking like that's like say for instance, for example, I'm gonna use myself. My mom passed when I was young, right? When people ask me how I'm doing, I'm not a bitter person, so I'm not gonna be mad at you. You know what I'm saying? That's just a natural human question. You feel me? Or if I'm upset about something, people gonna ask me, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm gonna tell them like, "Hey, I'm doing all right." But if you keep proceeding to dig and you keep asking me these questions, like you're actually concerned about how I'm doing, then I'm gonna respond and I'm gonna open up to you. You know what I mean? If I feel like you're the right person that I should be opening up to,
Yeah.
you know, like that's how that goes. Like I feel like a lot of people just expect people to open up. Nobody's gonna if somebody's hurting, they're not just gonna they're just not gonna explode and open up to somebody they don't know. You know what I mean?
But if you do know them, let's say you didn't open up about yourself and you didn't told them about yourself,
Mm-hmm.
why shouldn't they do the same? Why have to wait for them to open up after I didn't open up to you?
A lot of people just aren't wired like that. Like you can't, and I learned this over time. You can't expect you out of somebody else. You know what I mean? You
Mm-hmm.
can't expect somebody to do the same reciprocate the same thing that you're giving them. You know what I mean? You can't always expect that. So that's to answer that, but that's personally how I feel.
So, what do you guys think about community building? Like building those bonds with those different relatives and just not even relatives, like community, like people that's in the community.
Hmm.
Like maybe like the older folks or
Right.
the middle aged folks or whatever. What do you guys think about the the uh the importance of that as far as for like just like learning about where your family grew up at, you know, like that as a whole, like that whole community history because like like where I'm from, like everybody's connected in a sense, you
Yeah.
know. I mean, that's just how it is back home, you know, like the older folks, like all of them lived in that same community, you know what
Hmm.
I mean? So like you can find out a lot about your past, you know, like grandmother, your great grandmother, your great great grandmother and stuff, you know, like
Right.
from that area. Like the house I grew up in, I mean, my great grandmother, lived in that house. Like it was writing in the cement, from like the year when it was like built, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it been there a long time. So I mean, like I go down the street, and my dad best friend down there, and that was,
Mm,
that was just all love, because like all those
yeah,
people grew up on that same street. Even when I went to where my mom, grandmother people was from, like it was all love, like all those people, like the community been there a long time, you know.
exactly.
So you can go and go talk to anybody. He like, oh, but I remember your grandpa was, a little whippersnapper or whatever. You know what I mean? And like we
uh,
built those bond with those people and just talk to them. And they was able to tell you so much about, who they grew up with and
mhm,
like how your uncle, like how they grew up together, how they did this, how they did that. So I feel like those things are important, like as
definitely.
far as for like community building. Like, what's y'all take on that?
I feel like those are the type of, and it's gonna sound cliche, but like those are the type of things that make like the world like go round. Like that's the type of things that like we're missing in general. That's not just in our community. That's just like all over the world. I feel like we're so spaced out. You know what I mean? And everybody's afraid to make those connections for some reason. Like, but that's the glue. You know what I mean? That's how that's how communities stay communities. That's how like, and especially like the black community, like everybody used to be like neighbors in a sense, like friends, family. It was all one, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like over time it's just completely spaced out just because people's values changed. Like a lot of people are
Facts.
more
Yeah.
for themselves rather
Mm-hmm.
than the community. Everybody wants to be here, but nobody wants to be together like here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People value more like getting out of the community rather than building a community.
And
And
I
you
mean,
can like make your community just like that one that you're trying to move to.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I've like for me, I feel like there's nothing wrong with moving out of the community.
Yeah.
My thing comes into play. Like, here's where my thing comes into part. It it's a problem for me when you leave that community because
Hmm.
what we don't understand is that you're leaving someone there. You're leaving multiple people there when you leave.
Yeah.
If you go out and go make it, why not come back and give to that community to keep that community?
Yeah. A lot of people don't do that. Like they'll give back like a small percentage. Like they don't give back with their heart. They give back just because they feel like, oh, I don't want people to talk about me.
But
Hmm.
certain
You know?
communities, just some can't be saved for real. It's too many communities where there's too many violence in it.
Well, why you say that?
Cause I lived in it. I lived in where they shoot up. My cousin's on the basketball court playing basketball. He just started shooting out there. He could have got hit with a bullet.
Hmm.
So I want to be in that, trying to help that community that don't want to be helped. Well, some of them don't want to be helped. It's kind of hard to come back and try to
You
fix that
can't you can't say it don't want to be help if nobody's offering the help. I
That's
mean,
true.
people scared though, scared to go in there because of what's going on in that neighborhood, in that community.
I get that, but how's anything gonna change if you don't attempt to change it? You know, like if if you have to live there and there's nothing you can do about it, you can't afford to go nowhere else. You have to live there. Like, how do you fix it? How
Try
do
to
you try to fix it? Like, somebody have to step up and be that person to say enough is enough.
Literally.
You know?
I honestly feel like people try to help in the wrong way too. Like
Yeah.
you can't like let's say you can't talk bad about your community and then try to help them. You know what I'm saying?
And help other communities. Like,
Like
I don't
yeah,
get that. I don't get how you're gonna go somewhere else
I
and say,
seen
"Hey, I'm gonna change this. I'm gonna change this over here," but you come from a a terrible place,
yeah.
and you're not gonna go back and try to change it. You're just gonna let all these other kids because
Mhm.
it don't stop. Like people still live there. You're gonna let all these people and your people probably still live there. You're gonna let all these people just go through what you've seen and not gonna do nothing about it. But you're gonna go try to change something somewhere else.
Literally, I've seen a
Like,
lot of people
what
help.
sense that make? You get what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Like, it's not a lot of time. I don't think it's about people not wanting to be helped. People want help. It's just I don't. For me, and this is something I had to understand. I can't offer the type of help I want to offer you. I gotta come to you and know what
what
you
you
need.
need.
That's with everything in life. That with any type of relationship. That's even if you're in a committed relationship with a female. I can't
Let me keep some you don't.
love you the way I want to love you. I need to love you the way you need to be loved, in a sense. You know what I'm saying? That's the same thing when it comes to the community. You know,
Real.
that person that's out there shooting up that atmosphere, guess what? That's some type of trauma going on there. There's some type of something going on mentally to even make you want to do that.
Hmm.
You got to find the root of that problem. He went through something. That's why he's reacting like that.
And people have to
For every action,
realize.
there's a reaction.
People gotta realize certain things. I get it. Certain things are going to like keep going. Certain things aren't gonna stop, but that doesn't mean you can't make change. A lot of people sit there and say, "Oh, this gonna keep going, so I can't stop this, or I can't help because this is just gonna keep happening." Like change is made over time, bit by bit. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? You can't. You're not gonna stop everything all at once. So you start one place and you just keep going. You keep building. You can't build a house. I mean, you can't build. Yeah, you can't build a house with just one brick.
Hmm.
Like,
So you saying we got to be patient as we go?
yes, you have to be patient. You have to have patience with your people. Like, and that's the same thing with when we were talking about family. Like, patience is necessary. That's how you communicate. You can't communicate with somebody if you don't have patience. You can't help somebody if you don't have the patience to help them. You know what I mean? Because it's like you have to break through certain things. You know what I mean? Like, I get it, the violence in Louisiana and stuff. I understand. I see it all the time. But it's like that shouldn't stop you from wanting to help the people that aren't even around that or aren't even trying to be around that. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta help somewhere. You feel me?
But don't they get hard at some point trying to change people that just that been in that for so long? They just used to it. It's just the norm for them.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it get. I feel like some people feel like it get tedious to them to keep trying to change people that's stuck in that same way that they've been since they was young. That's all they know. So that trying to change them is kind of hard. So like,
It is.
how can we help them change if they don't want to be changed?
I don't think it's a matter of them wanting to be, not wanting to change. Everybody want better in a sense.
Some people just don't know how.
My thing is, sometimes it don't take you talking to them. It take you just changing things around them. If people see different stuff,
Mm,
then they feel different. You know, like
that's
say for
facts.
instance, like you said, somebody shot up the park or what's not. You might not even be able to get to that person to talk to them because they're not there mentally and they don't want to be there. But if you start changing things in that community, like just little stuff, like
Mm,
invest in the local park, and they're able to change stuff, make the park look a little different, or invest in some of like the grocery stores or something that's around there in your neighborhood, you know, and they're able to change little things and make that stuff look different, you
facts.
know. If people see improvement coming to their community, then they gonna want to change.
That's facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to just face that thing head on and try to sit down and have a conversation with everybody in the community. You know, start doing work in the community, make things look different.
Facts.
With change come change.
Literally.
But if the violence and the drugs is still there,
That's gonna change eventually too, because when you start to change things and you start to put money
They not
and
gonna
pump
want it
money into
there.
those communities, guess what? And law enforcement, they're gonna start doing different stuff, and then they're gonna try to keep that stuff looking up to par.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If that neighborhood just going down, then and if I'm a law enforcement officer, I mean, I'm gonna do bare minimum.
I'm gonna be
Already
honest.
going down the shreds. Like,
I'm gonna be honest. A lot of people aren't really educated in helping their community. Like everybody, like not a lot of people are talking about like changing like the school curriculum and stuff like that. A lot of people not talking about rebuilding the parks, uh rebuilding the houses, making the streets look better and stuff like that. The gas stations, the food places, like making like healthier options and stuff like that. We talk about it, but we're not really like pouring into it. And then you got people that's making it out and they're making millions and they're not coming back to do the things that they said they were gonna do for the same reasons. Talking about, I don't want to be around the violence, or I don't, I don't want to go back to those areas and stuff like that because people may hurt me or something like that. Why would somebody hurt you if they see you're trying to help them or help their community, and you're on their team? You know what I mean?
exactly. And that's where it come into play with me telling you guys about learning about your past, because think about it. Every community look good before it get ran down.
Right.
You know, go out and go talk to these people when these things were like first built, and all this, and what it looked like and what it felt like. And you
Mm.
learn a lot about that. So that's why I say, like, you gotta understand what you're rewriting. You know,
And it's also a matter of finding the right people when you try to go back and do these things. You have to find people that's on the same page as you as well. People that are like educated and want to do these things, you know? And I feel like that's why a lot of times we're not taken serious when we talk about developing these communities because we're not educated enough. You know what I mean? You have to really educate yourself before you try to go and do something like that, you know? So that community can take you serious, you know? That's when you're protected. That's when you can actually make moves in the community and build it up.
yeah, and that comes to like the next thing, like just privacy and trust. I
Hmm.
mean, like that stuff is big. Like knowing who to trust when you're going back and you trying to learn about your past. I mean, and you know things that were kept private in the family for like
Mm.
different reasons and stuff, and why you should keep it private too, and all these different things. I mean, like all that stuff plays a play into rewriting your history and this and that and the other. I mean,
I mean to cut you off, but why is we keeping things private? Like that hurts people when you finally just come out to talk about it, and then they didn't know about it, and now you coming out talking about it. Now they feel some type of way about it because you kept it in so long, and yeah, the whole certain people in the family kept it in so long and not saying nothing.
Are
Nice.
are are we talking about privacy away from family, or are we talking about privacy from outside? Like,
outside.
okay,
Okay, no,
well
that
then
changed.
we not that clarifies that. That's not
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. I feel you. So,
and when I say that, I'm not talking about like bad things in a sense. You
okay.
know?
mm.
So don't like don't get that
Oh, because
twisted.
I
when you say
immediately thought
privacy,
that
I
though.
just mean I think that mean you hide it. Like you trying to keep
No,
something
no,
in.
no, no, no. That's misconstrued, man.
Okay.
I mean, it's just
Okay.
you know, like in a sense, when you do like a DNA data search and stuff like that,
Mhm.
you know, you don't trust everybody with that stuff. Like that stuff that's kept in the family for different reasons, stuff like that. Because when you want to go back and like really research, like I'll break it down like this: when you researching like the family tree and different stuff like that, and you want to know like where you come from and this and that and other, like further back than what you know. You know,
Mm.
But what if your people don't know it either? So who do you go to
well,
find
that's
out?
when you do the search. I just said DNA data search and stuff like
But how that being private? That's going out to a person you don't
that.
know. That's not private though.
It's private once you get it,
Oh, okay.
if you want to keep it that. I mean, If you want the world to know, then that's on you. But I just feel
Mm,
like, you know,
Mm-mm.
okay. I thought you put him in the business, the person that you want to get your.
well, I mean, that's different. Like you got to, yeah, you got to pay for that in any kind of way. But
So
like,
what if you like doing? This is like a crazy question, but like, so what if you do like a DNA search and you like you related to somebody crazy, like you didn't even know this person's in your family, like on some Martin Luther King or Malcolm X or somebody like that. Like you, I don't know.
Or
It depends on how far you
even
going back.
even an athlete or something at this time.
Yeah.
I
So,
mean, I feel like stuff like that need to be known. Like if you're gonna say you're rewriting history, like you need to know what you're actually rewriting.
So is that like what you mean, like keeping private, like keeping like private who you related to, or like how deep your roots go? You know what I mean?
I mean, if because
Yeah.
the reason why I say the privacy part is because you may be related to somebody like that, and they may not want certain things to get out for certain reasons. Like I don't know,
Right.
like it could be anything. Like
Okay, that makes sense. Cause some people crazy when they find out stuff like that.
yeah,
So, uh, are you asking us if these things are important? Like, do we think these things
yeah. Do
are
you
important?
think it's important to keep it private, to let it be known, or like
I feel like it should be private to the outside community, and I feel like it should be, you know, talked about amongst your family. I feel like families need to know their backgrounds, but not individually together. You know what I mean? Because like I'm a firm believer in like family needs to be close. You feel me?
mm-hmm,
Because I feel like that's the strongest thing we have in this world is family. So I definitely feel like we need to talk about these things. I honestly feel like we could do these things together. You know what I'm saying? Like have sit downs and find out more about our roots and stuff like that, and just have these conversations. But that's what I feel like it should be.
but some families are broke, so where it's like it's hard for them to come together and try to find out those things and try to talk to them about them things because
Yeah,
they so stuck in their ways of what happened back then and what happened to them
right.
back then. They got into it back then. Not even
Yeah,
they don't want to
nobody.
talk to each other. They don't want to be in
Yeah,
the same room with each other. So how we can bring that family?
somebody got to break the ice.
yeah. I feel like we
I feel
so
like
petty when it
after,
comes to that.
yeah,
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I feel like after a certain amount of time, you know, like somebody got to break the ice.
Hmm.
Like I can't be mad at you forever. I mean, if I'm trying to get better, then I have to heal.
Hmm.
And if you're trying to heal, like you can't have like all these broken relationships, you know. So
All right,
at some point, if you're the bigger person that's trying to change yourself, then you have to remove the elephant from the room
definitely.
some kind of way. I mean, be creative, figure it out. You know, if they don't want to talk to you, break the ice some kind of way. 'Cause a lot of times, some people may tell you they don't want to talk to you, but just as
Hmm.
much as just as much as you missing them, they're missing you too. Especially if y'all
Hmm.
had like some type of relationship before,
Yep.
you know. Like, you
Okay.
know how many times that done happened to me? Like, I done been upset with somebody for a long time, and come to find out when I decide to just go and approach the situation, the person been forgive me years ago, you know. But yet I'm still sitting here in my way, holding the grudge, thinking that they mad at me. 'Cause a lot of time that's all it is, you know. You thinking that person still mad at you, and that person thinking you still mad at them, and y'all both really not actually forgave each other and ready to move past it, but
Hmm.
it's too much pride.
Yeah,
Mhm.
pride is huge.
So I got a cousin. Both my cousins. It's an incident where it's Thanksgiving around Thanksgiving time. We go to pick him up. He get into an argument with this stranger, and he flashed a gun at the stranger.
Oh
Oh my
man.
god.
He get caught on camera. Weeks later, the police call. They call us. They call my sister because they saw her in the front. They didn't see me because I was in the back and the window was dark. They seen her in the car drive away with him in it. And
Oh
he
wow.
wound up going to jail. I said like a week, a month later.
Mm,
He
mm.
blamed it on us because he felt like we was responsible.
How?
And then I don't know.
How were y'all responsible and he pulled the gun on the stranger?
That's what I'm saying. And then my older cousin, his brother, told me because we had told him we told the cops the truth. Like we can't tell a lie. You caught on camera, so why we can't lie for you.
Mm,
Mhm.
mm, mm.
So his my older cousin, his brother said we not cousins no more. So that made me feel the type of way. It's like right now we ain't speaking to this day. So it's like I don't know what his headspace at.
Respect.
But I know I don't have no type of grudge against him.
Reach out.
I don't got no information on him.
Mm.
That's crazy, bro. Honestly, I feel like we take a lot of family drama too far, like just events that happened and stuff. Cause like family, as family, you're meant to get over stuff. Like y'all gonna bicker and fight or whatever. It's like I done argue with my cousins all the time, or went back and forth with my cousins all the time, and it's like next family event we good, or literally the next day we good, we kicking it, we hanging out. It's never that serious to where you have to cut your family off. You know what I'm saying? Now I can understand if it's some like, you know, some crazy stuff that's like just completely unacceptable, you know? But it's like I said, like family's really all we got. And I feel like we have to have more trust in each other as family. You know what I mean? And that goes back to when we were having that conversation about like talking amongst each other about family roots and stuff like that. A lot of times if somebody finds out something like that, like, oh, I'm related to this person, we don't even have enough trust in like family to even tell people that stuff, you know what I mean? Or even have these conversations. Like we don't even we trust is like a huge thing. That's number one. And a lot of people don't even trust their own family members. And that's weird to me. You know what I mean? Like this is your blood. This is people that are like the closest to you. They'll trust a friend before they trust their family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's so weird, and I feel like that's where that term comes from. That, like blood is thicker than water. I mean, or whatever. Blood's not thicker than water. However they say it. I don't really believe that. You know what I mean? It's honestly weird, and I feel like we have so little trust in our own like family a lot of times. I feel like that's where that stems from.
Mm. Let me ask both of y'all a question,
What's up?
and it don't have to be no certain type of answer, just straight off the dome.
Hmm.
Based off of what you both know about y'all families now, family history and everything that you know, like whatever you know, even if you don't know a lot, how do you think you can rewrite your family history right now at this point in life right now?
Shit, I feel like breaking us all in one room and not leaving it till we can all come to an understanding on how we gonna move forward. Because fighting, bickering, and not talking to each other for years, it's not gonna work. Cause like you need your family. You ain't gonna always have that family outside. Like
Mm-hmm.
your family, nobody ain't gonna treat you like your family treats you.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody ain't gonna know you like your family know you.
Mm.
So it's like you need that. You need your family. So that's how I feel like that's what we should do. Keep-
It's certain things that I don't like about like I'm not gonna say just only my family, but I've noticed this. When you get older, you stop being around your family a lot more. And I don't like that because it shouldn't be that way. Like,
Mm-hmm.
say for instance, we was all younger, we would go over to people's house, you know, we'd eat, we'd have all these get-togethers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
for some reason, when you get older, it's no longer like that. It's now, oh, I got an apartment. I'm always in my apartment all the time. Or, oh, I got a crib. I'm with my girl and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't got
Mm-hmm.
time to be around my family and stuff like that. Or it's beefs from like years ago that don't nobody even really care about. Oh, I'm not gonna go over to his house and eat at this function because of this or that, or
Mm-hmm.
this person
Mm-hmm.
talking about me and that person talking about me. Like we're family. Why does the tradition stop because we get older and because of beefs that don't even matter? Why are you beefing with your family in the first place? That's supposed to be the easiest person to talk that out with. Y'all could go outside, talk, scuffle, whatever y'all gotta do. And it should be right back to how it was.
Exactly.
That's how
Exactly.
family's supposed to be. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean?
That's why I
Yeah.
feel the type of way about my cousin situation. Like we just slept in the same beds as youngins.
That's what I'm saying,
So
bro.
so
Oh.
it's like to be beefing right now about
Pause.
something. Oh, I cannot. We take it to a point. He's
They
like,
talking about pause.
nah, it's for real. We young kids laying in the same bed. So it's like beefing right now. It's like, bro,
Mm.
what are we beefing for? Like we didn't
Yes.
ate together.
ate together,
We done fought
everything.
together,
Literally.
play sports together.
Like,
But
bro, it's crazy because like all my younger cousins, you know what I'm saying? I talk to them. I talk to all my younger cousins, but like the old people, I don't even see them. And it's like, bro, like where y'all be at? What happened to all the family reunions, the functions, and this and that and other? I kid you not. When I was growing up, there was a function every weekend. I
Yeah.
don't see nobody on the weekend. I see the same people on the weekend. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what's going on? Like, I see the cycle, and it's pretty sad because I feel like that's one of the main thing that's going on in the black community. Like, as we get older, we beefing and stuff, and we don't even see our family.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
And then everybody want to talk about, oh, the phone work both ways. What?
Hey, that's my favorite line. That's my favorite line.
Like what? That's crazy, man. I'm just saying that's what I
But
feel like.
how
Yeah.
how how are you guys gonna rewrite it? Like, I don't think that answered the question.
I think that's the hard question. I feel like now, since it's like that, you got to do a whole rebuild with your family and then your friends' family and stuff like that. Like you got to
Mm,
try to bring these traditions back because sadly to say, like once that's like broken and those traditions are broken,
mm-hmm.
the next families have to build those. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Because everybody's so stuck in their ways, so it's hard to go back. You know what I
okay.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
You could try all you want, but if everybody not on the same page, sad to say, that's kind of gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like that. I like what you just said. You gotta build it back up.
Exactly.
I feel like you gotta break that old foundation down
Right.
and build a new one
There
because
we go. There we go.
it got cracks in that foundation. Now.
Right.
It's been used up. It's been broken down. It's demolished. You
Exactly.
gotta build something new for the next generation to come and people that come in.
Like say for instance, we best friends, right? So I have kids, you have kids, right? Now we got to build that foundation. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
like, okay, we got to teach our kids that, oh, family's important. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to argue with each other. We're not going to be mad at each other, nothing. Because at the end of the day, that's all we got. So we're going to have these get togethers. We're going to have these Thanksgivings, these Christmas, and all this stuff together. You feel me?
and then
And
if we argue, bro, come back and talk about it. Let's
exactly.
hash it out. Let's not keep the animosity and the anger keep going
Right.
and just keep going on for years and years to come. Let's
Exactly.
squash it right then and there and
And I
let it be
feel
that.
like that's how you rebuild it. Like, real spill.
Okay. That's fair enough. Fair enough. Well,
Like
fellas,
Juan Snowfall said, brick by brick.
that's right. That's right.
Real spill.
I mean, this was good. This was good, fellas. I mean, I feel like we got some good answers and
Definitely.
stuff, man. Well, you know, that's our time, man. We're gonna wrap this up. So the next episode, we're gonna talk about financial freedom and getting therapy in the black community. You know, that's all we got for you guys. I mean, when you guys shout it out, tell them where to reach us at.
And y'all know what it is. Go reach us at Bhostfuhl on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and please share. All right. Thank you.